back here to the SPL 2016 as...
Okay, I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah,
I'm okay.
Tasler had to do a quick little pee-pee there. And
everybody pees, guys. That was a shorter break than I had realized. Okay, so we're here. What are we talking about? This is game number 3. It's going to be Zest against Deer, a PvP.
And both these players really strong. Zest, one of the strongest Protosses in Heart of Swarm. But as we see with that down arrow, he hasn't been doing that well in Legacy of the Void so far, but he still is a solid player. But in my opinion, I voted for Deer. I know who you voted for in this matchup, but I think Deer will win this.
I think Deer will take it.
Yeah.
I think Deer's looking really solid in PvP lately, but this was actually a very tough one to call. I mean, Zest could totally win this.
Yeah,
no problem.
like Zest is one of those players that on any given Sunday he can win any Pro League game.
Yeah, man. So even any given Monday.
Yeah.
Like you know, for Pro League, you know, you can do that as well. Let's see what happens. I mean, you know, there is a difficulty, by the way, in predicting one match.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
you're basically just throwing a coin up and figuring out who's going to win. I mean,
I'm trying to figure out which side of the coin is a little bit heavier. I mean, it's tough because you could do some crazy stuff in one game, and you know, you might be way better than somebody. But if you have the right strategy plan on the right map, and you've got enough data on your opponent, I mean, there's a lot of stuff you can pull off. So let's see here. You know, Zest, this guy was so hot amongst the Protoss players.
Both literally and in gameplay.
Physically, yes, he's a very good-looking guy, but I mean his play style as well, really good. Deer, this guy, Royal Rotor at GSL.
A lot of people forget that because he had the time during his time on Mouse Sports, I believe, where he kind of dropped off the map, but with Legacy of the Void, he's kind of came back into relevance, basically, especially being on a team like Samsung and Galaxy, where he has a coach like Stork who knows how Protoss works in this in Legacy of the Void, and as a result, he's showing results.
Yeah, you know, Zest has beaten Deer a lot, but Deer's looking very, very good at Legacy, man. I wouldn't take this record here too seriously, but I mean, honestly, you voted for Deer as well, right? Yeah, I mean, I'm okay being wrong, but I got a strong feeling that Deer can pull this off.
I mean, as we mentioned before, Zest's results in Legacy of the Void have not been impressive, and I love the mask here from Deer.
Oh my gosh, we got a
ninja.
We have ninjas over here.
Are we going to see some Dark Templars tonight from Deer?
That's right, it's Deer in his Dark Templar outfit. Don't worry, we have our SPO observers over here, so he will be visible from the booth.
Wow,
oh my God!
All of us actually think
we are so good, or we're so bad, depending on how this turns out.
Yeah.
In case you guys are wondering, there's 2 reasons why you'll see that in Korea. Sometimes when people are feeling a little bit sick, as a courtesy, they will wear a mask. And then, of course, sometimes when it's just really cold outside,
it helps people wear your face up.
Yeah, it helps heat your face up. It could be either of those two. Anyways, we're going to go into our next game here at Pro League 2016. In the upper right, in the red, Zest. In the bottom left, in the blue, Deer. Who is he? He's got a mask on. I have no idea.
Oh my God. Oh, that was so bad. Anyway.
It's the mystery player.
Oh dear.
That's one day there's gonna be a day, GTR, where you know, I'm gonna be like, oh, I can't come in, but then you see this mysterious pro gamer in a booth, and I've got like a Phantom of the Opera mask on, and I'm slowly going through the tournament, winning it when I'm not casting it.
Yeah. It's like, oh, it's Tasteless. Wow.
But why is Tasteless wearing a Phantom of the Opera mask in that booth?
It's like.
And I do the interview. I'm like, I will show great games to my fans. Ooh, the mystery player.
As we see here, both players going for both the gateway and the early gas. No surprises. I have a feeling that because of how this map is designed, we'll see the early nexuses from both players, as Zest going for that nexus, also Deer going for that nexus as well. So
yeah, and this is all par for the course on a map like this. Like, you know, we'll see what exactly they want to do in a little bit here. The cores are going to start. You know, Protoss is in PvP, especially in Starcraft 2, unlike Brood War, was always a matchup where you really do have a lot of different ways you can play.
Recently, we've seen a lot of Adept-based armies fighting each other. Before that, it was like a lot of Immortals, a lot of Disruptors. Considering the early game nerfs with the Mothership core not able to put down those pylon overcharges, we're not going to see those shenanigans with those offensive pylons that we saw last week between Hero and Hurricane.
Yeah, no, that would not be a doable thing anymore, I would think.
Well, it's still viable, it's just that it's not as effective as it was before the patch.
Yeah. Stalker starting now here for Deer. And we have an Adept for Zest, so the two builds diverging. Pause game, PP.
Does Zest need to PP? We'll have to see what's happening.
Nice one, GTR, man. So there's some issue. We'll let you guys know if we get notified what's going on. We occasionally have these problems.
If you would like to talk about the vehicle of esports, which is technology, go ahead.
No, I don't want to talk about that. I've been doing this for too long. Everybody's heard that one. I no longer have to explain that these things run on computers, guys. There's enough people in esports
so there's a hotkey setup problem. So I believe that Zest will be penalized 1 point as a result of that. As Deer looking quite pensive.
Yeah, we'll let you guys know if he in fact is. We don't know for sure. It depends on other varying circumstances. We have a lot of support here for Deer in the audience, by the way. Some people cheering.
Hello, everyone out there.
Yes, hello, guys. Good to see you. We should get this fixed in a little bit here. He might have to go change his hotkey setup. I mean, obviously you can't play without your hotkeys where they need to be. In this game so far, we see that one player going for a Stalker. Doesn't mean he's going to be going for Stalkers, but we see at least one being made. The other player going for the Adept. The Adept, as you were saying, has been changed. It has been patched, so functionally it might have a different role, maybe the role that Blizzard more intended it to have. I know that when I first started playing in Legacy, I was not using the Adept the way I apparently should have been using it, that everybody else was. I was using it as like a small harass unit, or using it like later on in mid-game or late game. Kind of like we'd see people go for DTs, and then when I started casting and seeing what everybody else is doing, I'm like, oh, okay.
They solved the Adept.
They solved that. You just make about 12 of them in some cases. But yeah, let's see what kind of role this unit's going to have here. It still has a lot of utility early on.
Yeah, it still has its utility. The Shade ability, very useful. It's great as a scout. As I can see right now, Deer is opting for that Stalker because that Stalker has a lot more bulk to it. It can deflect those early units like the Zealots and the Depths out. And something also interesting to note before we switch to before Zest paused is that he walled himself off from that bottom ground. So I'm not sure if he walled himself out or there's like that one hex available for units to come out.
Just looking at that, I think he's actually walled himself out. We've seen some players go for Mass Phoenix. I'm not sure if we're going to have that this time around. And I believe we're going to get this game unpaused in a second.
So both players confirming that they are ready. And looks like we're going to count down into the game, and in a few seconds we'll be back to our game between Deer and Zest.
All right, so back into the game. We can resume the action. He's actually going for, Zest is going for a Twilight Council right now.
Yeah, so it looks like he wants to do some blink play, judging by how he's walled off his base. I don't see any other option he could do with that Twilight Council, maybe DTs and an offensive warp in, but we just have to see how this goes after this Twilight Council goes down, as we see a robotics facility. Safe move from Deer.
All right, Robo Bay is the way to go right now for Deer. You know, with some of these fast expanding builds we've seen. Okay, by the way, Blink coming here for Zest. This is pretty cool. He's going to use his Adept, and he's got his, I believe it's walled in there. We'll get a shot of that later. But, yeah, I mean, he's going to use his Adept to keep peeking into Deer's base. And notice he's going around the edges here. Oh, this is cool. I love this.
But I don't think this scout's going to net him that much information. We'll see that there's a gateway and a robotics facility.
No, that's great, though. That's something right there, man.
Yeah,
he knows.
Ooh, nice move there with the depth as well, actually getting to that back. Doesn't really do that much damage, but actually forces DL to charge those probes against the depth. So it looks like even though he's scouted that robotics facility, he is still going ahead with his blink play, and we'll see how Deer reacts to this, because he's got that robotics facility up. He's getting that observer to see what's happening, because that base of Zest is walled off. We'll see how quickly he gets those immortals out to counteract with his blink play, though.
Well, you know, you got to remember, since Zest is, or Deer rather, is kind of in the dark, he's having to get observers right now, right? He doesn't know about the threat of, you know, possibly DTs or anything else like that. I mean, when you cut yourself off from having any real circulation in and out of your base, you can go for all sorts of stuff. It's much tougher for them to rush up there.
As you see, Zest killing off this pylon. Doesn't feel that blink play, assuming he wanted to do some sort of 2-base blink timing, wasn't going to work out with that robotics facility up. So it looks like he's intending to take his 3rd base. But
this is so good. And he gets it. Nice job there.
Also remember that there's a Dark Shrine being built. So if DL, he's building Immortals now because he knows there's that threat of Stalkers with blink on the map for Zest. If he keeps pumping those Immortals out and Zest gets a Dark Templar warp in, he can do a lot of damage with that.
This is a really, I mean, this build really makes me think a lot. I really like how Zest is approaching this, right? He's expanding. He's got some Blink Stalkers. You don't know how many exactly, right? That Observer never actually got in there. He has DTs on the way, but you don't know if you need more Immortals for the Blink Stalker. I mean, there's so much that can happen here, and we have that Observer coming down here now. This is huge.
No! That Observer goes down as well, so...
And he can just blink out here.
Yep.
Peace.
So... Okay, so Deer stopped at 2 Immortals because he needs these Observers out. I'm pretty sure he doesn't know about the Dark Shrine that has been built by Zest, but he knows that if Zest is going after those Observers, there has to be something going on here.
This is really cool here by Zest. I really like this. And he's keeping the pressure on here. He's hoping he might be able to bait out a few more Immortals. However, even with 1 Observer out, it's going to be a lot tougher. Excuse me, cough. It's going to be a lot tougher for him to defend 2 mains here. And even with the Observer that he has, there's a chance that Zest could come in here and try to kill off this Observer. Yeah, oh my God.
We'll see how much damage these Dark Templars do. I felt, though, that he might have might be better just to drop 1 at the expansion as well, but even these 3 DTs are doing a lot of damage, and that's going to unpower that upgrade there on the council, or whatever that was.
And he's actually going to look at the Forge here. No, this is fantastic. Note, he's actually keeping his Observer right over that army. He wants to see if he can't blink on top of the other Observer. And of course, with most of this army actually defending the Stalkers over here at the entrance already, Zest is mining from his other expansion. I mean, Zest is tactically playing like a genius.
This has been vintage Zest that we've seen so far in this game. He's been able to out-multitask his opponent, and not only that, he's been able to outsmart his opponent and get those minor gains like those Observer snipes to get the advantage here. And in a fickle matchup like Protoss versus Protoss, mirror matchups where it's so close, Zest is slowly gaining the lead as time progresses.
Okay, more gates coming down now as Zest is ahead in production, ahead economically.
We actually see the supplies actually evening up right now, but
yeah, but as far as tech goes, man, this guy's in great shape. I mean, you got the attack upgrade coming here, whereas Deer's making his Forge. We're about to have Disruptors, Disruptors coming out.
As Deer rather killing those rocks at the back. We'll see how Deer tries to get back into this game. I haven't really seen anything from him that strikes for me as him trying to climb back into the game.
Well, I gotta say, I mean, the build from Zest, I can't really blame Deer for the position he got into because of this, you know? I mean, Deer has actually been on his back foot for most of the game. He's definitely having a tougher time trying to read what's coming at him, and Zest has this irregular rhythm in the text that he's doing. He's getting a couple Stalkers with Blink, and the strategy is not to actually do a Blink all-in or to out-micro his opponents. It's just to get rid of Observers while he does a DT drop, while then expanding safely. I mean, it's pretty cool.
Speaking of which, Deer taking that 6 o'clock base, Zest counteracting with his own 12 o'clock base as well. So it looks like both these players are posturing for the long-term game.
The Disruptors are now coming out here. And he's going to be careful. That was move command. The Disruptors are coming out. Nice job there. Going to continue to push this forward.
Gets a shot off on the Immortal. One Immortal does go down for DR.
DT is going to be dropped into the back, bottom left.
So Blinkstalkers here just chipping away at the base of Zest. We'll see how Zest deals with this. One Dark Templar, one Zealot. I really love that move actually, because if you had an Observer with that army, actually going on to this big battle here, one Immortal does go down from these Blinkstalkers, and nice Disruptor shot as well. But another drop at the expansion of the back base of DR. That DTs are going to do a lot of damage here. The Disruptor shot doing so much damage as well, and
yeah, he's just got such good control, and he's actually shoved him back far enough. You know, Immortal's not the most nimble unit against the Disruptor. He's just targeting down that Nexus. I don't believe the DTs are doing any more damage down there in that bottom left main, but over here it's 4 base versus now 3 base.
And as this Disruptor actually goes up, and gets one of the Disruptors. I could have done a lot more damage if Deer was not careful there. I really love Disruptors. They're really great at zoning your opponent, especially in situations like this where you have those large Stalker Blink-based armies.
He's trying to get this one Disruptor over here. He's got to be careful not to overextend. Great control there by Zest. Man, these guys, so good. Deer right now, though, in a bit of a tough spot. Having to play from behind here. Yeah, going to be very frustrating.
Losing that 6 o'clock base as well. So Zest is going to have that slight economic lead as well once he gets those probes Mavenarded to that 12 o'clock base. So there might be a window of opportunity where Zest just maxes out before Deer does, and then he can just attack move into Deer's army before Deer can max out himself.
Okay, we have the Stalkers coming up here to wipe out the remaining Stalkers of Deer, and there's actually not really anywhere they can blink from here. The distance between the 2 expansions on the upper left too far to actually blink into.
But seeing the fact that Zest got baited by that small Stalker army at the top left, Deer seeing a window opportunity to move out across the map, and we'll see how much damage this army does.
Nice job there. Disruptors here from Zest, definitely with the winning engagements.
Ooh. That was a really risky move for there from Zest, but he's not playing the game quite enough. He knows that he could have just moved forward there without taking that hit from
Zest isn't maxed out, so he can still warp in units to defend these Stalkers harassing. But not a bad idea for Deer to try to hit it this time. If he was maxed out, this army might have to turn around. Oh,
does pick off this Disruptor? No, he doesn't. Oh,
no! Oh, the misplays!
Oh. That was some really sloppy play there from Deer, losing a bunch of Stalkers there. Unfortunately, and actually counterattack here at the front base of Zest.
Oh my god, he needs a blink on top of that.
Gets the orbs out. Oh!
Good exchange.
The orb of the Disruptor, and if those Disruptors died there, those Stalkers could have done way more damage than they should have.
Yeah, I think there's so much going on at once right now, all over the mini-map. We might have another engagement too. Deer's over here in the bottom right, and Zest is moving to occupy this territory.
As we see here, Zest just picking off these stray Stalkers of Deer, and we got maybe around 15 to play lead for Zest. There's more Disruptor shots. Boom! 4 Stalkers go down. Disruptor's doing a lot of damage, and these money shots. Oh, that was really close.
That was super close. Had he not blinked there, that could have been a.
These money shots from the Disruptors of Deer keeping him into this game.
All right, he's coming down now. He's going to go and try to get this. Oh!
Oh my god!
Huge miscontrol there. And now he's going to go over here.
Oh, that was so lucky. And he actually intercepts.
He blinks away and happens to be on top of the remaining Stalkers coming here to reinforce.
This is just basically who's going to get the better Disruptor shots out.
Oh my god, this is a bloodbath. Actually, Zest has lost so much. I think Deer might have just out-controlled him. Unreal. I mean, this really goes to show you the ability to come back with the Disruptor in the game. Absolutely beautiful.
I am at a loss for words of Zest control in that battle. Like, a lot of unnecessary losses there. And oh my god, that's some 6 splits there from Deer with those Stalkers without the blink. As, oh my god, he's just blinking forward. These Disruptors. Oh!
Is that going to be enough, though? Deer's still pushing forward. He's going to try to come in here and end it. A lot of Disruptors coming up here. This is his chance.
As we see these orbs not doing the damage that they should, but there's way too many Disruptors for D. And
there it is, GG. Deer did it. He was behind for about 90% of that game, but with good control, good dodges, good engagements, he managed to turn it around, really showing what an awesome matchup PvP can be, especially in the late game.
Even losing that 4th base, even though Zest outplayed Deer in that early game, the way that Deer used those disruptors changed the flow of the game. Zest had no answer to how Deer engaged those battles using those disruptors orbs. They did a lot of damage, and that's why Deer won the game.
Deer is the Ninja Protoss.
So
fantastic.
Wow.
Okay. Well, we're going to have to go into game number 4. That's all we can do.
Yeah, so game number 4 will be stats against reality on Ruins of Ceres, and I picked stats for this game. I believe you picked reality.
Yeah, I was feeling reality here, but I could be dead wrong. So, I mean, let's see what happens.
Yeah, that game
was a really good game.
I mean, those disruptors were just flawless from here. I haven't seen Disruptor used so well just like that, so.
Well, it goes to show you, I mean, 2 Disruptor hits used correctly. And I mean, Stalkers, it's kind of funny. It's like Disruptors are the counter to Stalkers, but Stalkers are the counter to Disruptors.
So, it's basically like finding out when the timing is when your opponents use up the blink, right? And then you see that window of opportunity to go in when they don't have blink. And if they're not careful enough moving their Stalkers back, then your Disruptors can do a lot of damage. So
I tell you, man, Zest is not going to be happy about that game. And it's going to be a tough moment for him, man. I mean, he was ahead that entire game.
Yeah.
I thought his build was better. I thought he was pushing Deer in the direction he wanted that game to go.
Like, I feel once those DTs came out and did all that damage for Zest, I felt that he had control of the game. But I guess he didn't really push that advantage with those DTs further and allowed Deer to get that disrupt technology, get that 4th base up. And once that happened, Deer was able to climb back into the game.